Today, MPP's Lydia wins Ayawaso by-election. Fuel prices to go up by 2 pesewas a litre. President Akuffo Addo assures teachers. Ex-MASLOC boss in trouble. US deep freeze claims 8 lives. Jussie Smollet to open up about homophobic attack. A warm welcome to you today. This is the news on DGN with me, Lydia, and you're watching The Update. Wife of Emmanuel Chairmanting Ajako, the late Member of Parliament MP, Lydia has won the Ayawaso West Wogan constituency by-election on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party MPP. The election held on Thursday, January 31, 2019, within the Greater Accra region, became necessary to fill the vacancy created in Parliament following the death of her husband, who is the MPP's MP for the area. At the close of polls, after several reports of violence and gunshots fired at some individuals, Madam Hassan was declared winner by the Electoral Commission (EC). In the official results released by the EC, she garnered 12,000 votes to beat her closest contender, Delali Brembong, of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), whose party said in the early hours of the elections that it was pulling out of the race because its members were allegedly being attacked by members of the vigilante group Invincible Forces, which is believed to be aligned to the ruling New Patriotic Party (MPP). Aside, Madame Hassan fondly called Ma Lydia, Mr. Brempong, and other contestants for the race were PPP's William Dewopo and LPG's Clement Boedi. Ayawaso West Wogan constituency is historically an MPP stronghold. And the NDC was seeking to end the ruling party's 22-year of the area. But again, NDC crashed after several alleged desperate ploy to discredit the outcome of the election, apparently after preempting defeat. Mr. Delali Brempong, the NDC's candidate, polled 5,000 votes, even though his party had announced earlier it was boycotting the election, but interestingly, its supporters defiantly went ahead to vote. The NDC's MP for Ningo Prampram, Sam George, was seen in a video being given hot slaps by a security operative after he had earlier announced on Facebook that several ammunitions were fired at him. Sam George had also reported that someone had been shot dead inside the residence of Mr. Brempong, but it turned out to be a complete lie, as the police administration issued a statement later flatly debunking the claim. Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODIO, which deployed observers at the polls, praised the performance of the EC, but however condemned the violence that marred the polls. CODIO, in a post-election statement, observed a lack of security coordination as well as unnecessary heavy security presence at some of the 137 polling stations. Drivers and vehicle owners may soon have to double up when they visit fuel stations sooner or later, as the Institute for Energy Security (IES) is hinting at a substantial rise in fuel prices at stations where drivers will be expected to top up with an additional 2 pesewas for every litre. This is a result of an increase in the prices of crude and finished products. According to the Institute, the increase is due to gas oil seeing a substantial increment of 6.17% and an average Brent crude pricing going up by 7.47% over the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the depreciation of the cedi by 2% is still the single key element in scrapping the price gains on the local fuel market over the past weeks, but while moving a litre of fuel, such as gas oil, above the 5 Ghana cedis per litre. President Akuffo Addo is assuring teachers that his government is clearing all arrears accrued between 2013 and 2016. He said the arrears cover travel and overtime allowances and transfer grants. According to President Akuffo Addo, measures are being put in place to prevent the recurrence of the situation of government accruing arrears. He also commended NAT for the collaboration in the exercise, which is scheduled to end in the latter part of March. The president made this known yesterday when he commissioned the refurbished Badaiko Hall at the national headquarters of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. He stated that for Ghana to also make a success of itself, attention must be paid to teachers, explaining that it is only a crop of well-trained and motivated teachers that can help deliver the educated and skilled workforce needed to transform the Ghanaian economy. President Akuffo Addo noted that the government is working alongside key stakeholders to develop a comprehensive teaching policy based on UNESCO benchmarks to enhance the lot of teachers. Government, the president also added, is pursuing several reforms including pre-tertiary curricular reforms, teacher education curricular reforms at the pre-tertiary and tertiary levels, and mainstreaming technical and vocational training in teacher education. According to the president's speech, and I quote, "These reforms form part of the government's vision to transform the country's education delivery system to meet the needs of the 21st century and produce a skilled and confident workforce to drive the nation's agenda for industrialization and modernization." He has appealed to NAT and all other teacher unions to give their full backing to this comprehensive program, he said. The president added that the country's collective goal should be to build a new Ghanaian civilization where prosperity and development are underpinned by values of creativity, innovation, hard work, honesty, integrity, and fellow feeling. Former Chief Executive Officer at the Microfinance and Small Loans Center, MASLOC, Sedinam Christine Tamaklo-Atinu, has been slapped with 80 counts of stealing and causing financial loss to the state to the tune of over 93 million Ghana cedis. Christine has been charged along with former operations manager of MASLOC, Daniel Axim, under whose watch the alleged misuse of public funds took place. The charges included conspiracy, unauthorized commitment resulting in a financial obligation for the government, improper payment, money laundering, and contravention of the Public Procurement Act. The charges pressed against the two former MASLOC officers followed the conclusion of the investigations by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, into the fraudulent disbursement of MASLOC funds supervised by them. The two are expected to be dragged before court on Monday, February 4, 2019, for the charges to be formally read to them.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
You're still tuned into the update. Well, a polar vortex has the US in its icy hands, with extreme temperatures having already claimed at least 8 lives as this deep freeze continues. The deep freeze gripping much of the US has been blamed on a polar vortex. The polar vortex is an area of low pressure that keeps the cold air trapped in the north spinning over each pole. But sometimes the jet stream dips southward, expanding beyond the Arctic Circle, sending cold Arctic air into the US. The uncertain changes can influence the weather closer to where one lives, closer to the ground. So actually it's the weather that's closer to the ground that's cold, and not the polar vortex itself, because that's 50 kilometers above our heads. The US National Weather Service has warned that frostbite is possible within 10 minutes of being outside, and as a result, hundreds of schools, colleges, universities in the affected areas have been closed, and it's not surprising with temperatures colder than parts of Antarctica. So far, some 250 million Americans overall have experienced the polar vortex conditions, but some southern states, such as Florida, have managed to escape the brutal chill. And scientists say that there is a link between warming at the North Pole and cold temperatures in the US. America's third largest city of Chicago broke its 1985 record low of -32 Celsius, according to meteorologists, and weather officials have warned people not to take deep breaths outside and to even minimize talking. The region near Buffalo, New York should see the heaviest snowfall. Snowfall could fall at rates of 3 inches to 5 inches per hour. For those who have the luxury of a home, it's a matter of staying indoors and wrapping up. For those less fortunate, the situation is much dire. And for some 70 homeless Chicagoans, a Good Samaritan has paid for them to stay in a hotel. Salvation Army spokeswoman Jacqueline Raychev was quoted saying, "It's a deadly situation for anyone. We're thrilled that someone was in a position to be able to do this." And it's not just lives that have been affected, but the Arctic weather could cost the US billions of dollars. In 2014, a similar polar freeze cost the country an estimated $5 billion. For example, in Minnesota, residents have been asked by natural gas company Xcel Energy to reduce their home thermostats to 17 Celsius in order to help the company handle heating demands. In addition to this, over 2,300 flights have been cancelled and another 3,500 delayed. But by the end of the weekend, places like Chicago could see temperatures as high as 10 Celsius. It's going to be at least a 60-degree swing for Chicago, David Hamrick, a National Weather Service forecaster, said. The icy cold is expected to loosen its grip today, but all reports surrounding the polar vortex sound ominously like a prequel to the climate disaster movie The Day After Tomorrow.
Broken hearted people are the first ones. Once they started, they can be the worst ones. Love is a weapon if you don't use it right. Now we're watching conform my life. Hurt people, hurt people. They don't know why.
Jussie Smollet is back in Los Angeles and ready to get in front of a microphone with a show this weekend, and we're told it's likely he'll address the Chicago attack. The Empire star landed in LA Thursday, 2 days after the Chicago incident. Tickets for the venue were available on Tuesday, but with all the hubbub, it's now sold out. The tickets were going for $20 to $35 a pop, but they're being resold for $70 and more. Jussie, who still bears scars and swelling, will almost certainly make reference to homophobia and racism. Chicago police are on the hunt for two persons of interest who were across the street from Jussie just before the incident. Jussie's family said Thursday this was a case of domestic terrorism fueled by hate speech, which seemed like a shot at Trump. So that'll be all for today's update, but do well to visit our website at dailyguidenetwork.com for more news, or follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Daily Guide Network for more stories around the world. And don't forget, you can also get interactive with me at Lady Pulos on Instagram. The update was brought to you by Diamond Cement, powered by Press Express, and supported by Casa Clothing. This has been Lady Pulos. I wish you a great day.